3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and here is today's comic. It is Detective Comics, issue 1062. This is the beginning of a new creative team. This is Rom V and Raphael Albuquerque, and then a backup story by Simon Spurrier and Donnie. Now, this is a perfect introductory to a new run. I can't stress that enough. This, in my mind, I know that Rom V is one of the best writers in the business, and it's made me excited when he was put on to take over Detective Comics. I didn't know if he'd be like a great Batman writer, because I haven't read anything of his that is remotely like Batman. There are certain writers like, say, an Ed Brubaker, who are really strong crime noir writers, and that fits the Batman style very much. Ed Brubaker, sorry, not Ed Brubaker, Rom V, on the other hand, he seems to be a lot more horror-oriented, which is not too unrelated from Batman. You can put some horror elements in Batman. But supernatural, kind of almost just, he's very literary, very kind of fairy tale. I don't know, he's a very talented writer. He's all over the board. But clearly, this is Rom V saying, yep, I can write Batman, and I can write it as good as anybody. Now, one thing I want to note here that I really kind of noticed here that I liked is this, the ages 13 plus DC Comics. It's a minor touch, but I really like it for a big reason. I think comics have gotten away from being for kids. I think they've really been trying to address this aging audience, right? It's people like me, the middle-aged people that grew up with the comics in the 90s and are still the main buyers of the comics today. And, there's some younger people getting it, but you have to, if you keep targeting the same generation, eventually you're going to have to just get older and older and older, because we're getting older, right? Eventually your comics can be written for 70-year-olds. I don't know. No, what you want to do is keep comics the same and let either let your fans age out and say, you know what, that's not for me anymore. Like I did with Saturday morning well, they don't have Saturday morning cartoons anymore. But, like I used to watch the cartoons of the 80s and 90s. I was a big G.I. Joe fan, Transformers, He-Man, what have you. But today, I wouldn't want, they're childish. They don't have the same interest. I grew out of them. No big deal. You keep them the same, though, because new generations will grow into them. Anyways, suffice it to say, what I'm trying to say is that comics need to be for kids. And I think it's important that we but identify who comics are for. If you're going to write mature comics, great. Put an 18 plus stamp on it and say, here we go. If you're going to write it for really young kids, great. Put it for 8 plus. And I like anything that helps me as a consumer identify what I'm getting into. And so, I think maybe they could make this less prominent, but I think maybe it also needs to stand out. I don't know. But anyways, I'm already way in the weeds. I love this cover. It's not your typical DC Comics style cover for Detective Comics or even just anything, but it really seems to work here, especially because it's Rom V, and I discovered Rom V through Vault, and this cover reminds me of something that Vault Comics would have done. So it evokes that, it almost has a signature trademark style, ta-da, Rom V's here, and we want Rom V fans to feel at home. And but I think also just on top of that, there's a certain gothic kind of look to this, which I think works with Batman. I'm all aboard. This is fantastic. Raphael Albuquerque is not my favorite artist. He's not even really in my. He's usually one of the artists I'm like, oh, Raphael Albuquerque, darn it. Like he's more of the artist that I don't look forward to. He's serviceable. He's not a bad artist. But this comic might be the best, or let's just say the most pleasing art that I've seen from Raphael. Like, normally he's a detraction for me, but he wasn't here. I really enjoyed his presence. I don't know if Ram V is such a good writer that Raphael just could sync with him so well. I don't know what the deal is, but it's better than my normal experience. This comic is not super sophisticated. It's not super complex. It doesn't have a plot that's going to blow you away and just be like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. It doesn't have any of these types of things that you could normally brag about and just be like, isn't this the greatest comic you've ever read? It doesn't have that. What it does have is a remarkable level of restraint and elegance. And by that, what I mean is Ram V doesn't come in like James Tynion did and try to just do like I'm just going to go slam bam with all this massive Joker war and just, overdo it, overcompensate. He doesn't. It's very much like I'm just going to do something super, super simple because I got this. And I felt very, what's the term? Like, very comfortable in the sense that I was like, oh, this writer knows what he's doing. Like, and when I feel like I can trust a writer, I feel like I can enjoy myself more because I can let go. I don't feel the nitpickiness. I don't feel like when a scene goes a certain way and I'm not sure what it is, I don't start jumping to like bad conclusions and be like, oh God, here we go. In a bad writer, I'll start doing that. But when it's a good writer, I'll go, this seems a little weird, but this writer knows what they're doing, so I'm gonna roll with it, see where they're going, because they're not gonna let me down. And Ram V immediately puts that in me with just some of the most basic writing techniques. I love that he doesn't overuse dialogue. There's not a lot of dialogue in this. It opens up Gotham City, you can see here. We're at I don't know if this is like an opera house, some sort of playhouse. It's Origa, and yes, there's either a play or an opera. I'm not exactly sure. And we've got the characters going on, and it's Traviso Maria Fredo, who spilled your life so, who stole your breath and mine wonder. I have no tears to give, no breath to cry, such monstrous griefs as parched your soul. I sense you now, demon, your breath upon my back, the smell of terror and shadows. We see the imagery here, the bat. Your hands rest heavy upon my shoulders, and I hear your pearls around your neck, laughing. But you are hidden, yet I dare not look in the depths of my own soul. Where are you, demon? We see the crowd. And here, Raphael, while it's not the most beautiful illustrations, perfectly captures the emotion of the crowd, the feel of the moment. We can see Bruce Wayne is missing, reserved for Bruce Wayne. Answer me. Now, we don't know what's going on, and that's important. This is exactly, I think, Ram V trying to just throw something out there, put you in a kind of a confusing place to where you're like, hey, what the hell's happening? I don't understand. And then we see, where are you? And we see this is, Batman. He's just in a cool Batman pose in Gotham. And this is something, too, I want to point out, that I always say that Batman, in a Batman comic, or any Batman story, not just comics, but Batman, Gotham is one of the characters. Gotham is a character of its own, right? This is very important. And I think one of the differences between good Batman writers and not good Batman writers is the good Batman writers get that. They get that Gotham is a character, and just kind of like Star Trek or Star Wars. In Star Trek, the Enterprise is a character. In Star Wars, the Millennium Falcon is a character to an extent. I don't mean that they necessarily have speaking lines or things like that, but it's just it needs to feel like it's part of the story in its own way. It has it's like almost like a personality. And then we just get to see Batman being Batman. We get some cool dialogue that really feels like Batman. 2245, Eastside Dockyard, smuggling op, log in, run vitals. 8 marks down. They're pretty routine. What do you say, Bruce? 8 seconds? And then he jumps off. He's gliding in. Laser alarm strung along across the air. They meant to warn them. Makes my job easier. They know I'm coming. Fear leads to mistakes, and I don't make many. And then we get this cool. I got to this point, and Sergeant Bats, I don't know if you're going to watch this video or not, but my old partner, kind friend of the channel, Sergeant Bats, big Batman lover, as you might guess. He used to always tell me, he's like, good Batman comics have Batman throwing batarangs, which I used to laugh at because I was like, I don't care if Batman throws batarangs. I can give two shits about that. But here it is, Batman throwing batarangs, and it's cool. And then we see it's 22 seconds, not 18. Then the alarms go off, and Batman encounters some crazy, otherworldly, bestial being. You're like, what the hell's going on? And things start to take a weird turn. Batman's fighting it, and to get some action, which is great. Comics are an action medium. Mainstream superhero comics are an action medium, right? This is also, it's a visual medium. So one of the lost arts, or the dying arts in comics, is so many comics where it's just people standing around talking and doing nothing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like there's room for stories like that, but in superhero comics, we need to have action pieces. It's just a thing. It's a trope, right? Batman readers want to see Batman being Batman. And here we get it. It's very basic. Batman's getting his butt kind of kicked by this thing, and someone shows up, shoots it in the head. Who is it? Batman's got to chase her down. And we find it's Talia al Ghul. So there's a little bit of dialogue. Batman's like, my rules, blah, blah, blah. You don't kill. And then Talia sparks back. She's like, your rules are going to get you killed. This thing's not even human anyway, so your rules don't apply to not killing humans. And she basically tells him, like, you're slipping, Bruce, like you're getting old, and these rules are going to get you, if you keep following them, it's just holding you back. And then we cut over back to one of Bruce's, I guess, his safe houses or whatever, and he's checking out he's kind of giving himself a once over to diagnose any problems, doing some lab tests, and he calls Nightwing. And I found this really refreshing too. And I'm not a big Nightwing fan, but one thing I'd hate is a bitterness between Dick Grayson and Bruce. I get it when you kind of wrote the story and Robin had to kind of flee the nest. The pun not intended there, but when Robin had to flee the nest and become his own thing, I was all for that. And it does symbolize that young men, they grow up. There's an independence when you're going from a teenager to an adult, especially if you're a male. You have that rebellious nature that you do things on your own, and it strikes conflict with your father or father figure. But it's been so many years to see like this bitterness. Bruce obviously loves Dick. Pun not intended. Dick obviously loves Bruce. it's so tiresome to be like, oh, F you, and like you just see like in the comics, like I when the DC Universe launched their Titan series, remember, you guys remember this, it's been several years now, and it was like, oh look, we're getting a Titan series, and the big promo video was Dick basically going, oh fuck the Batman. You're just like, God, dude, shut up, I want to see a little bit of tension, but it's like a father and son. Anyways, here we get the respect, and we get a little friendly banter, with him and Bruce. It's like, oh, you fought Maroni's nephew, who turned you into some kind of weird creature thing? What was it anyway? No way to tell. Couldn't get usable tissue sample, just ash. And the computer's got nothing on visual morphology. Thought I'd check with you to see if you'd seen anything around where you are. Oh? Are you injured or worried? Worried it got you? Like, are you concerned about an infection? No. Then what's with all the testing? Just routine checks. Bruce, you're in your basement at 3 a.m. hooked up to a bunch of sensors. None of that's routine. I could feel it. Something's off. Wrong. I was off tonight by 3 seconds. I let Talia get away. I need to find out what's going on, and I need to fix it. Bruce, you ever consider the fact that you just might be getting too old for... Don't make me come down there, Grayson. Ha! I'd kick your butt, old man. You see, there's a little bit of that rivalry, but it's friendly, better, refreshing, just basic. And this was just a simple scene to just kind of establish some character rapport. And, it's necessary, it's short, and it feels good. These are characters that we like, so it makes sense to write characters behaving and interacting with each other in ways that we, so this whole book, it's like I said, it's nothing I can point out to you and just be like, look at how amazing this is. This is just an example of pure excellence in simplicity and elegance. That was the other thing that I said. The elegance is the sense that it's not trying to overdo anything. It's not trying to put 5 different subplots in there and all these different villains, and it's just, I'm gonna just do some, here's Bruce going on a basic kind of run to fight some goons and test, his how basically, not a training mission, but you know what I'm saying, like a caliber, God, I'm all tongue-tied, I can't even talk. How in shape he is, basically monitoring his fitness levels and so forth. So then we get introduced to said villain, Coronis, the Oregon Palace, Zavarstal. Now, this is not familiar to me. This was completely alien to me, so I don't know if this is pulling from DC lore or if this is something brand new. If you know, put it down in the comments, like if they're pulling from old DC lore or something, like what this is, because I don't know, and I'm fully admitting my ignorance. So we get this woman, of some sort of aristocracy and power. She's talking to her son. They're talking about their legacy, and it all has to, of course, send to Gotham. So we know that there's going to be intersection between these villains, and then Batman. They arrive. There's a person that's already there that was sent ahead, some sort of assassin. I believe, I forgot what his name was, but you can see him here with the glowing eyes. And he kills his target, and Bruce Wayne's having nightmares, and we get to see the Bat. And this was an interesting scene too. I don't really know its significance, but that mentions Barbatos. Now, I'm not a DC aficionado. There's over 80 years of DC comics, and I'm still relatively young in my knowledge. I only got really into DC in 2018. But when I did, Metal was the series that was out that Scott Snyder was doing. And Barbatos was this dark god that lured Batman kind of into this whole mystery of the metal. If you read Metal, you know what I'm talking about. So I don't know if this is related. I don't think that Rom V is doing metal, but I'm wondering what Barbados has to play in that. Batman wakes up, discovers. So he had found this box. It kind of skipped over that, and he was doing some analyzing it. That's what these evil people are looking like they're going to come to. And he was trying to figure out what it was, and it opens up, and it's a music box, and he's wondering, and it's a mystery. And this is great. This is Detective Comics. Detective Comics, many people have argued, and I kind of tend to agree with them, should be about Batman being a detective. I'm all for it. Like, if that's the case, this does definitely feel like that. But it's not just about Batman being a detective. It's about writing a story that's a mystery. There's a lot of stuff that's not explained here. But we know as a reader, we feel comfortable in the delivery that Rom presents that answers will be given, right? This is all set up. These are things that are going to play out, and we're just putting the pieces on the board. And it's hard to convey in just describing to you over a YouTube video. You have to read it to yourself to really experience it. I'm just trying to do my best to maybe clue you into trying it out if you haven't. Or if you have, you're either nodding your head and going, yeah, Ash gets it, or you're shaking your head and going, what are you talking about, Ad? This book sucked. I don't know. We all have different tastes. There's a backup story, and it was not bad, but it was forgettable. It's Commissioner Gordon. She's not commissioner anymore because DC's stupid. And yeah, it's I could take it. I would say I was about to say I could take it or leave it, but no, I don't want to take it. Honestly, this is my main problem with both of the Batman books. The Zdarsky one and now this one. Is it's $5.99 and you're getting essentially two comics. You're getting a comic you want, it's really good, and then you're getting a backup comic that you could probably care less for. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some people that go, oh, I really like the backup story, Ash. Great, more power to you. Of course, every comic's going to have its fans. But I give two shits about it. I just would rather pay $3.99 and just get this story. I don't want to pay $2 for that. It's not worth it to me. And I think most people are going to agree with that. Comics are already too expensive. $5.99, no. It was more pages, yeah, but it's only half of the pages are what I want. That's a problem for me. But that's not Rom V's fault or Raphael Albuquerque's fault or Dave Stewart to do the coloring or anyone else's creative team. This is upper management at DC that's screwing the pooch. So you have to make your own decisions of whether $5.99 is worth it to you. But I'm here to tell you about what I think about the actual comic itself, and it's the result. This is a great marriage of art and story. It won me over with Raphael. I don't really like it, Raphael Albuquerque, but here he does a good job, and it fits the mood of the story. I feel like there are some horror elements. It's a little eerie and creepy. It's kind of it's got a kind of gothic feeling. Rom V just delivers style and feeling to the book. I can't really describe it. I wish I'm trying to. I'm at a loss for words, which is really weird because I'm doing a video trying to talk about the book. I should probably have my words more in order. But anyways, you came here to see what I thought about the book or to, I think that's it. Hopefully you like it. This was great. This is better than Zdarsky's Batman. But I think if you're a Batman fan, it's a good time for you. You've got two solid talents on the books. I think this might be an era probably better than years. This has the potential to be the best era for Batman in many years when you put the combined talents. the only downside that I really see, besides the pricing, is the shared universe of DC. That's my biggest problem as a fan. Is as good as these books are, as much as I enjoy this, I have to like enjoy them in a bubble and go, well, I don't get these don't get to play in the rest of the DC universe for me because I don't want to see this interact with all the other nonsense. So if you don't care about that stuff, some people don't, then that's going to be not for you. Tell me what you think about this book. Did you read it? And if you didn't read it, why not? Do you like Rom V? Do you hate Rom V? Am I just full of shit? I don't know. I'm not full of shit. I'm at least telling you the truth. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your skirt. One final point here I thought it was interesting is they do a 3-page tribute to Neil Adams, which, he passed away this year. And Neil Adams, of course, big Batman guy. Stan Lee didn't get this level of tribute at Marvel. Shame on you, Marvel. Rest in peace, Neil Adams. And thanks for watching, guys.